even if we're spending the proper amount on content, SEO, optimizing our website, off-page signals, we'll still see organic attribution go down, but we'll see direct traffic go up and we'll see
Yeah.
paid traffic go up.
Mm.
And what I don't think CMOs get, or again, back to the enlightened ones, they do, but people aren't going to click. They definitely won't fill out a form, but they're not going to click an ad
Right.
and until they go through AI has just changed. I call it the keystone. It's like the Yellowstone wolf. When we put the wolf back into the environment, everything got better again. Once
Yeah.
we actually write well, we distribute our authority, we talk about what we do. Back to your point of we actually solve problems here that are your problems. Once we
Yeah.
actually start doing really well at that, all the other channels start flourishing. And I just feel like there's an underinvestment, to your point, and this were maybe preaching to the choir, but underinvestment on brand, on trust. I just think there's just a lot of that just is being misrepresented when it comes down to the budget. Because again, it's like, well, I know my ROAS when I spend more on ads. So why would I write a case study, or why would I do a white paper, or why would I go
Yeah.
to this? Because I'm not going to get paid I'm not going to get credit for that at the boardroom in 6 months.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Again, it's incentives, and the incentives are out of whack. They're not matched to how buyers buy. So there's a scenario that I've been posing to people lately. A couple of facts from I mentioned this a minute ago from our recent study. We asked buyers, so you're buying something in, accounting software or ERP or whatever it was. How many times in your career have you been involved in purchase processes for that category? It's eight times.
Wow.
So yeah, the people who are making decisions are largely in their 40s. They've been around for a long time. They've been in the
Mm,
same industries. They've been in the same functions. And most buying processes go 3 months, 6 months, and stop without buying anything. So your buyers are in market a lot more often than you see them in sales meetings and
mm,
all, because they go into market for a while and something happens. Budget gets cut, priorities change, leadership changes, and then that buying process stops. And one of the biggest reasons it stops is that the buying group moves along for a little while and they get frustrated with each other. They can't agree on what they should do, and they just say, okay, let's table it for a while. 40% of buying processes stop that way. So,
wow.
so you've got all of these incredibly experienced buyers. That's what, if you exist in a category that's been around for a while, your buyers are very, very experienced in your category. So like one
Mm,
thing that we're seeing is, uh, you think about who that person is. So you've got a buying group of 10 people on average. 4 or 5 of them are really important decision makers. All of those 4 or 5 have an average of 8 buying processes in that category, even if it's the financial buyer or the purchasing person. So, one, do they need to go to Google to find out if you exist? Well, if you're a
that's
new
true.
brand, yes, but otherwise, no. Right? They do not. They're
Yeah.
not starting their buying journey looking for who to evaluate. They already know.
Mm,
And so our research says 4 of the 5 vendors that they're going to evaluate are on the short list on day one. Bain had a similar finding. LinkedIn had a similar finding in a different study.
mm,
That's how it works is when you're in an existing category, your buyers know between the 10 people, they know all the brands that they're going to evaluate. They put 4 of them on the short list on day one of that buying process, and they buy from one of those 4 95% of the time. So
wow.
they're not going to Google now to find out if you exist. They never have. They're going to go look for other things, but that's not why, right? So you're not missing out on shortlist because you're not, you don't show up well in Chat GPT. Not now, there's something else though that is going to be a problem. But for right now, what buyers say is that they're not relying on ChatGPT or LLMs at all for who's going to be on the short list.
Mm,
They're using LLMs more in the middle of their buying journey than at the beginning. So as they get into the buying journey, they know who they're going to evaluate. They're using them the same way the rest of us do in our normal lives. All right, what I'd love is a nice table that compares all of the vendors across all of the categories.
mm,
Or, all right, we got back we got back all of the proposals. And so can you compare these for us and put them in a chart, right?
Right.
It's not making any decisions for a buyer at all. It's just, can you organize stuff? Can they synthesize it, put it all together? That's how we use it now.